Affordability is one of the most important factors in determining whether or not you're ready to buy a home. And there's so much more to the affordability equation than just the price of the home, like your mortgage rates, your income, the cost of living, and on and on and on. But what we're going to focus on in this video right here is the one area that I can help you with, which is how to find an affordable home in Southern Oregon. So I'm going to show you all of the most affordable parts of Southern Oregon, from Medford to Grants Pass, from Ashland to the Applegate Valley, from Butte Falls to Cave Junction and beyond. We're going to cover it all in this ultimate guide to affordable homes in Southern Oregon. Hey, I'm Brian Simmons. I'm a licensed real estate agent here in Southern Oregon with eXp Realty. And if there's anything I can do to help you learn, buy, or list real estate here in Southern Oregon, I hope you will not hesitate to reach out. You can give me a call or a text at 541-954-7758. That's my direct number. Or you could use the link in the description of this video to set up a time for us to meet face to face. If you like what you see in this video, then go ahead and click on that like button, hit the subscribe icon, and check out some of the other videos we have about Southern Oregon real estate. Now, let me just start by explaining a couple of things about the local real estate market in Southern Oregon, which spans all across Jackson and Josephine counties, okay? The median sold price in Jackson County is about $450,000, and in Josephine County, it's about $430,000. Median means half the homes were sold above the price point and half the homes are sold below that price point. So since we're talking about how to buy an affordable house, I figured we should really focus on the price ranges below the median sold price. And that's how we are going to break down the ultimate guide to affordable homes in Southern Oregon here. We're going to look at 5 different price ranges, and I'm going to show you the most affordable parts of Southern Oregon in each price point. And so when I combed through the data, I found that there were actually 9 different areas that have the most affordable homes. And so we're going to discuss those, and I'm going to make sure you are well informed on which of those areas make the most sense to search in, depending on the specific price range that you're looking at. Make sense? So we're going to start by looking at the top of the price range and looking at homes that are in the $400,000 to $450,000 range. This range represented about 27% of the homes that were within our criteria. The parts of Southern Oregon with the most homes sold is, not surprisingly, the larger cities like Medford, Grants Pass, Central Point, Eagle Point, and even Ashland had a fair number of homes sold in this range, although they were generally pretty small. And to clarify, what you're seeing on this chart is the number of homes sold per city over the last 12 months prior to making this video. So if you're looking at moving to Medford, Oregon, you're going to have a lot of options in this price range. If you're looking at relocating or moving to Grants Pass, Oregon, you're going to have a lot of options in this price range. The parts of Southern Oregon that you really won't be able to find a lot of homes in this price range are going to be places like Jacksonville or Ashland, or more rural properties with some acreage, which are all generally priced a little bit higher. And you won't find a lot of homes in this price range in some of the other cities like White City and Cave Junction, which tend to have a lot more options at lower price points, which you'll soon see. Now, let me clarify something about Ashland real quick. Yes, there are homes in Ashland in the $400,000 to $450,000 range, but they are generally smaller, older homes than you would find in other areas like Medford and Grants Pass, okay? The median sold price in Ashland is nearly $600,000, so it's not generally viewed as one of the more affordable parts of Southern Oregon. But if we're ranking the areas with the most affordable homes in this price range, the ranking would go something like this: Medford, Grants Pass, Central Point, Eagle Point, Phoenix Talent, Ashland, Rogue River, Gold Hill, we're lumping those together, Cave Junction, and then White City. Well, let's move on to our next price range, which is $350,000 to $399,000. And I was actually surprised to see that there were more homes sold in this price range than any other that we're looking at today, with over 32% of the homes that met our criteria. When you look at all of the cities that we're looking at, this price range had 20% more sales than the $400,000 to $450,000 range, which was a bit of a surprise to me. But either way, the story is pretty similar here, where you see a lot of the options in the bigger cities like Medford and Grants Pass, and really the only city on the list that saw less homes in this price range than the prior one was Ashland, Eagle Point, and Phoenix and Talent. And again, we're lumping Phoenix and Talent together. So all of the others saw more in this range than the other. So what this tells me is that if you're searching for a home and you're setting your search criteria between $400,000 and $450,000, you are going to be missing out on a lot of homes, right? So I would cast a wider net and look at $350,000 to $450,000, and you'll have a lot more options to take a look at. But this price range between $350,000 and $399,000 is definitely a good one for finding affordable homes in Southern Oregon across the board. all of the cities aside from Ashland pretty much were well represented at this price range. But if I were ranking the most affordable areas with the most homes in this price range, the ranking would go something like this: Medford, Grants Pass, Central Point, Eagle Point, Phoenix Talent, White City, Rogue River, Gold Hill, lumping those together, Ashland, and then Cave Junction. Now the next price range is where things start to get a little interesting, and that's the $300,000 to $349,000 price range. And there was a big drop off from the last price range to this one in every single city except for one, and that was White City. And that doesn't necessarily mean that White City has more homes in this range than Medford. It just means that White City has more homes in this range than it had in the higher price ranges. And that's probably because the type of development that has happened in White City, okay? They've built a lot of homes and a lot of townhomes that target this segment of the market intentionally, okay? Which is generally, first-time home buyers and a lot of investors who are looking to buy property or turn it into a rental and those sorts of things. But still, if you were trying to find a home in the $300,000 to $349,000 range, you're still going to find the most options in Medford, which accounted for about 37% of the homes in this range. But if we're ranking the areas with the most number of affordable homes in this price range, the ranking would go something like this: Medford, Grants Pass, White City, Central Point, Eagle Point, Cave Junction, Rogue River, Gold Hill, Phoenix Talent, and then Ashland. Now we break into the sub $300,000 range, and we're looking at $250,000 to $299,000. And yeah, you can still buy a home in Southern Oregon for under $300,000 no matter what you hear. They are out there. And those affordable homes in this price range are most common, again, in the Medford and Grants Pass areas. But the surprise here was actually that Rogue River and Gold Hill climbed way up the list here into the number 3 spot for the most affordable homes in this price range, followed by Cave Junction at number 4, then White City, Eagle Point, Central Point, Phoenix Talent, and then Ashland again at the end. There weren't really that many homes sold in this price range to begin with only about 12% of the homes that met our criteria being in this range. But the nice thing about this range is that it was pretty even outside of the top 2 big cities and then the bottom 2, which didn't have much. But the middle 5 were pretty darn close, okay? So for example, the difference between Rogue River and Gold Hill in the number 3 spot and Central Point in the number 7 spot was really only like 4 houses over the course of a full year. So that means you'd have a good chance of finding a home in pretty much any of those middle areas. And I probably wouldn't bother with Ashland or Phoenix Talent in this price range though, since there's only a handful of sales between the two all year. Now we get into the lowest price range, which is everything under $249,000. And it can be tough to find a home in this price range. Only just above 6% of the homes that we looked at fell into this range, okay? And that's not a lot. So my advice, if you're looking at this price range, is just to not be overly picky. If you find something that you can live with, make a move at it and see if you can get an offer accepted, okay? If you like the house, but it's not your forever home, that's okay. Okay, look at it as a stepping stone to build some equity and to help you get into your next home, okay? If you're renting, this is an absolute no-brainer. Buy and start paying yourself instead of your landlord. Don't lose out on that because the house doesn't have that big spacious backyard that you wanted or the granite countertops that you dreamed about. Now that we got that out of the way that the areas stack up here are the same at the top with Medford and Grants Pass. Then we have Cave Junction, Rogue River, Gold Hill, Central Point, Eagle Point, Phoenix Talent, White City, and then of course Ashland, okay? And there's actually a tie between the bottom 2, but who's counting? So the best bets again are Medford and Grants Pass, with over 65% of the homes being sold in those 2 cities, whereas the next closest had just over 8%. So let me show you what it looked like when we put all of the data onto one chart, because I think the visual here tells a really, really good story. When we look at the overall picture here, the one thing that's clear is that the bigger cities with the most houses have the most affordable houses, and that's pretty obvious and it isn't much of a surprise, okay? Medford and Grants Pass accounted for 65% of the affordable homes on this list when you add all of the price ranges together. But there were some interesting takeaways from the other areas that jumped out at me when you look at the chart for all the data. So for example, if you're looking at Phoenix and Talent, you're gonna have a hard time under $350,000. And I'm thinking that's probably having something to do with the fire that went through there in 2020, and it burned down around 2,000 homes. So what's selling there now is new, and that costs more money, okay? So that makes sense. If you're looking at the $300,000 to $350,000 range though, White City, it has a lot more homes in that range than it does in any other. Again, probably by design when it was developed, okay? And surprisingly, you'd have a lot easier time finding a home in this range in Central Point than you would in Eagle Point. That was another thing I didn't expect to see. Rogue River and Gold Hill though, as well as Cam Junction are pretty balanced across the board in all of the price ranges. And that's also something I didn't really expect to see. So that was the ultimate guide to affordable homes in Southern Oregon. And I hope you now know how to find an affordable home in Southern Oregon and the most affordable parts of Southern Oregon, and where to start your search when you are ready to buy a home in Southern Oregon. So speaking of that, again, I am Brian Simmons. I'm a licensed real estate agent here with eXp Realty in Southern Oregon. And if there's anything I can do to help you learn, buy, or list real estate here in Southern Oregon, I hope you will not hesitate to reach out. Use that link I told you about when you want to set up an online meeting with me or meet face-to-face. It's in the description of this video, or you could just shoot me a call or a text if that's easier to my direct number, 541-954-7758. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below too. So feel free to drop a comment down below if I missed anything, or if there's something you think I should have added. Go ahead and drop that down below. I'm creating new videos every week, so hit that like button, click the subscribe icon so you don't miss out on any of those upcoming videos about other parts of Southern Oregon. And I thank you for watching this one. We'll see you on the next video.